Lauren and I have a great session for you. It's talking about person-centered planning. And Lauren has been with us now for about the same time that I did. I think we actually started on the first day together, right? And so it's good to be able to present this with her. This is our first time presenting together, but we think we got some great information for you. So with that, we're going to go ahead and Lauren, go ahead and introduce the session for us.
Yeah, so we're here to talk to you about person-centered planning and UI Reach, what it looks like, why we do it, and what it's going to look like moving forward to support your student in reaching their goals. So, all right, there you go. Do you want me to do this?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh yeah, sorry, my bad. So today we're going to really focus on why we're placing such an emphasis on the use of person-centered planning and why it's important, describe what it looks like in UI Reach, and then give an example of the tool we're using to support students and families to facilitate person-centered planning. So we're going to jump right into it here. So what is person-centered planning? It's an ongoing problem-solving process focused on an individual and that person's vision of what they want to do in the future. So we're looking not only at what we can do to support your student or in UI Reach, but how we can support them then to meet their goals for the future as well. So UI Reach is really dependent on the commitment of a team of individuals. So while the person is at the center of the planning process, they're surrounded by supports and services or friends, family, anything to help them reach their goals, focused on developing personal relationships, engaging in activities and participating and becoming members of the community. Taking control of their own lives, and Bill's going to touch on that in a little bit, and then developing the skills and abilities needed to achieve their goals. And so when we look at why it's important, person-centered planning really is a strengths-based approach. We're looking at what the student currently is really good at doing and what they have and the tools they have to be successful in the future, while also then identifying their needs and what is still needed to reach those goals and who can support them in doing that. It empowers the individual to make their own decisions with the assistance of their circle of support, and we'll talk later towards the end of the presentation about who those people may be in that circle. But it really allows the individual to be an active participant in the entire process, gain control over their life, see their future, share their vision, and get everyone on the same page so that they can be supported in reaching their ultimate goals. And then person-centered planning aligns closely with self-determination. So self-determination is one of the largest predictors for successful transition outcomes, and it really supports students in decision-making and problem-solving, promotes self-advocacy and self-esteem, self-awareness, and really helps the student establish those realistic goals, ones that they can use, ones that they'll set for themselves that are achievable for their future, and really understanding their strengths and needs in a holistic view. So.
Thanks, Lauren. As Lauren was talking just a minute ago, this is really your entry into becoming an adult, students, right? So you're coming from a time when you were totally dependent on mom and dad at home. Now you're moving into an environment where you're going to be a lot more you're going to have a lot more flexibility and make some great choices. We talked about choices earlier today. And so this whole planning process is designed to help you make some great choices that lead to where you ultimately want to go in your future, right? Both inside UI Reach and after you leave UI Reach. So we talk a lot about the analogy of being in the driver's seat. Who's in the driver's seat, right? Many of you may have a driver's license already. And you know that you really only one person can drive at a time, right? So the student is in the driver's seat when we talk about their life at UI Reach. That does not mean that you don't get support and advice from a lot of other people, but it's your life. And so you have to begin making some decisions that point you to the directions that you want to head in while you're at UI Reach and beyond. So big question, who's in the driver's seat? The big answer is you are, right? You are the person that's in the driver's seat. We want to hear from you what your thoughts and ideas are. And then the people on your team are going to give you advice and support to help make some of the vision that you have come to pass, okay? Come into play. There can be 4 passengers in your car, right? Or 4 other people in your car. One is a passenger. That's just somebody who's along for the ride. They're not trying to tell you where to go. They assume you know where to go. They're along for the ride to maybe help you tune on radio right, or read the navigation signs right, or get the snacks ready. They're the person that's there to help you along this journey. That they're there to just be a really good friend and help you move in the directions that you want to go. All right. Most of your UI Reach staff are going to be in that instructor. I don't know if any of you have taken driver training classes, but your UI Reach staff are going to be like your instructors. They're not going to drive for you, but they're going to tell you all the rules of the road. They're going to tell you how to read the gauge on your car. They're going to tell you how to do what you need to do to be successful, right? So your advisors, your instructors, your mentors, all of those are people that are there to help you safely navigate, be safe on the road, be safe in life, and move towards the goals that you want to achieve in life. So that's the person in the instructor seat. The person that everybody really wants to avoid is that backseat driver. That person that's constantly telling you, turn left, turn right, slow down, speed up. You're about to avoid a wreck. That's the person that we don't want to have here. We want everybody that's surrounding you to give you good advice and good counsel without telling you what to do, because as a responsible adult, you have to figure out how to make some great decisions for yourself. Are we going to let you run off the cliff in the car? No, absolutely not. We're going to give you that guidance that you might need to be safe. But in fact, you will be the person who is making a lot of the decisions about your life once you get at UI Reach. So next slide, Lauren.
All right.
So what the whole purpose is to see your own desires, your own interests, and discover new ways of thinking about you, right? We've never met many of you before the interview, that is. So we spent a little bit of time with you. This is to help everybody that's around you see you in a new light and kind of see what the possibilities for your future really are. Maybe not to see you as you are today exclusively, but to see what the future can bring for you and help you move towards that future, right? So the focus is not on UI Reach. The focus is not on mom and dad. The focus is not on the university. The focus is on you, the student. And we're going to try to help everybody see you in the best possible light and visualize you in that future that you want to achieve. All right? Next slide, Lauren. So there are 3 components that we want you to keep in mind here. Person-centered thinking. That thinking involves a whole new way of doing things. We don't look at everything as a cookie cutter approach. We think that students can have a plan for their time at UI Reach that is specific to them and that gets at what they want to achieve. We have changed our mindset. We've made a paradigm shift at UI Reach. No more cookie cutter approaches. Let's figure out how to individualize this thing to the greatest possible degree. Does that mean that you won't be taking some of the same classes that everybody else? No, it doesn't mean that, but you might be able to take some different classes inside of and outside of UI Reach. You have some flexibility there. What is it you want to achieve? We believe that everybody's plan can be individualized. So we'll enact, or we will practice, or we will have times where we sit with you and plan. You, your parents, and other people in your circle of support will sit with you and you'll plan, hopefully to create that vision for you in the future. So it begins here. It begins with our thinking. It then moves to our planning, and then goes back to what we can envision for the future, right? So person-centered thinking leads to planning, which creates a vision for the future. I love this quote. It says, sight is what you see with your eyes. Vision is what you see with your mind, right? There's some things that are going on in your minds about what the future might look like for you. We want to help visualize that with you and create that path, create that roadmap to help you get there. A lot of your plan while you're here is going to focus on your years at UI Reach, but we also want you to visualize further down the road. A good driver can not only see what's right in front of them, but they can see what's further down the road. Get that picture in your mind about what you want to achieve, and let's figure out how to help you achieve it.
All right. So what does person-centered planning look like exactly in Reach? And so Bill gave a really nice overview of how we've now had this paradigm shift of moving towards the person-centered planning and creating visions with each student in that individualized process. And so we really want to promote that positive control in each student's life at UI Reach. So again, you are in the driver's seat. We're going to focus on your strengths, your interests, and we're not going to use that cookie cutter approach. Each thing will be individualized, and while there are core Reach courses to take, there's activities and electives and a variety of other things in the University of Iowa campus that we can support you with in taking ownership of what you want to do, how you want to do it, and everything like that. So we will listen to you. You'll be surrounded by a support team to listen to your wants, needs, and goals for your future, and then think about what we can do in the here and now to support you in reaching your goals while at Iowa, but then also for your future. And so it's an ongoing process, very fluid, can be constantly changing, but it's really focusing on you as the individual and what you want to do, not what someone's telling you to do. Again, if your eyes are set on the road and seeing that final destination or a time point later on, that's what we're here to support you doing in the here and now and down the road. So we have a brief video. So you saw in that video that we highlighted that plans can change and that you'll be setting long-term goals, but also some short-term action step type of goals while at UI Reach. And when I mean plans can change, your priorities and different things are changing as you come to college and everything. And so one of the first steps to this person-centered planning process is going to be with your advisor, and they'll really engage you in that discovery process. And it's, again, just ongoing, but really understanding what's important to you, including the people, what types of things or activities are important to you, what makes you feel important, what do you value, like your routines, your and everything like that, your schedule. Are there certain things that you practice that you really value? Like, what is important to you? And they're going to use that to help guide this person-centered planning process, and then share about what things align with your interests, values, and everything that UI Reach and the University of Iowa can provide to get you engaged and become part of the larger campus community and support you in UI Reach too. Next is deciding what's important for the person. And so these might be a little more abstract, or certain activities or practices. And so some might be that health and safety, maybe supporting you with attending, going to a counselor if needed, the education, employment development, right? Like, what do you specifically need to be successful in our classes and in your internships and career placements? Stability, so having someone there that you know is a go-to that you can rely on and understands your vision for the future and the here and now and what you might need in that moment to be successful. And that's what we mean by what's important for the person, what we can provide to you. So this is where I said that we'll talk a little bit more about that circle of support. And so as you can see, the individual is in the center of the screen, and they are surrounded by people that might be important to them, people that may provide supports, And this is only a touch on possibilities. You can have as many circles around yourself in that center as you want and or need. So your advisor is someone you'll get paired up right in the beginning with at UI Reach that will help you with that discovery process and through other person-centered planning activities. Your instructors, obviously your family and friends know you best, and so they want to know how they can support you in reaching those goals while on campus and later on in life. What types of outside agencies and resources or campus supports can we bring to the table that can really help you in reaching those goals? And what would their role be? And so everyone's role might be different. The way that they contribute to the plan might be different. But overall, that individual is in the center, and it's their focus, their visions, and everything that are really going to support them in reaching their future. We're just the passengers and instructors, but continue letting them be the drivers. All right.
All right. So we're going to talk about looking at you again in a different way. And here's where you get to do some homework with your families. Of course, college wouldn't be college without homework, right? So you have an assignment. One of the assignments that we want you to take on is called a positive personal profile. And those words are chosen very carefully. Positive because we're not going to look at what you can't do. We want to look at what you can do, right? It's personal because it's all about you. And then 3, it kind of represents you in a graphic way on one sheet of paper that we look at to really try to structure how your time at UI Reach is going to be spent. So this is a one-page profile that leads to positive change, right? It's an at-a-glance way of knowing what really matters to you, but it also incorporates what's important for you, all right? So it's something that you can, it's a living document. You'll do it once, but you'll do it many, many times because we as people grow and change. So over the course of your time at UI Reach, you can update this document to reflect who you are at different points in your time with us, all right? Next slide, Lauren. So here's what the P3 does. It helps build better relationships by understanding what matters to you and the way that we can help support you to live your preferred life. Again, it can be updated at any point to change how you change. So you'll have an opportunity to update this document several times as you are here at UI Reach. Here's the document in its essence. It's really, really kind of simple document, but it just asks some things like, what are your dreams and goals? What do you want to accomplish while you're at UI Reach and before you leave UI Reach? Some of you answered that in your application questions. We want to see if those answers have changed at all. What are your dreams and goals? What are your talents, skills, and knowledge? Where do you shine? What makes you different from everybody else, right? So this is not the typical assessment. This is the stuff that really makes you stand out as you. What makes you unique? What separates you from everybody else? What are some of your values? What are some of the things that you espouse as an individual and that your family espouses as a family? What kinds of values do you bring to the table? Your environmental preferences, your work preferences. Many of you already have jobs, but many of you will be exploring different types of jobs. What kind of work do you see yourself doing in your internship while you're at UI Reach and beyond when you actually go to work in your hometown once you return? Or maybe you decide to relocate to Iowa City. That's okay too, by us at least anyway. What specific challenges do you have? What do you struggle with? What kinds of things might you need a little extra help with, right? What are some of your interests? What are your learning styles? Do you learn best by reading? Do you learn best by watching a video? Do you learn best by seeing somebody do it first and then you copy what they do? What works best with you in terms of a learning style? What are your positive personality traits? What do your friends and family say about you? What are the words that they use to describe you? You know, one of the words that we use to describe Dr. Lauren is energetic, because she can get it done. She has lots of energy. She makes it happen, right? So what are your positive personality traits? What are your dislikes? Do you not like rooms of being separated all the time? Do you not like large groups? What are your dislikes? Do you hate spinach? Okay. What are your dislikes? What separates you from everybody else? Who is your support system? We know that mom and dad are there for you, but is there a friend or an aunt or cousin or a school teacher or a voc rehab counselor? Who's in your support system? Because that's who we're going to try to put in those circles that Dr. Lauren talked about as well. We're going to invite them with your permission to be a part of your circle of support. And then what kinds of solutions accommodate? What works best for you? Do you need large print? Do you need a speech to text accommodation? Do you need more time when you're taking a test or reviewing a concept? Do you need to have somebody break it down into smaller steps for you? What works best for you? And then there's a part that talks about your career ideas and possibilities to explore as well. We're going to email this document to all of you, and your homework assignment, JT, is to get it done, get it completed, right? Work with your mom and dad to get this document completed and put in all of these things that makes JT who he is, that makes Connor who he is, that makes Mia who she is, right? She loves music, I believe. I saw her getting down with that music just a while ago, right? So what makes her different from everybody else? And how can we use this to make her time at UI Reach the absolute best it can be, all right? Next slide, Lauren.
There we go.
We also have a career personal profile that we'll use. Someone asked that question earlier about the discovery process and knowing how that students can help employers know what their strengths and abilities are. We will spend significant time reviewing this in your career personal profile. Your entire first year will be devoted to figuring out what your strengths are, building on those strengths, and increasing that all-important employability factor for you, making sure that when you leave us, before you leave us, you can get a job. So there'll be a career profile there as well.
Oops. There we go.
So again, that P3 is a living document. We'll come back and we'll visit it from time to time, at least once or twice a semester. We'll revisit that and we'll ask some questions. What have we tried? What have we learned? What are we really pleased about? What worked well? And what are we concerned about? So how do we need to change your plan based on the progress that you have made? We'll go back to that profile repeatedly. We'll call your group back together. We'll say, hey, we now need to come up with some different strategies to help the student achieve their goals. How can you help? And what's expected of that student to reach those goals? So it's not a document that's written in stone, not even written in ink. It's written in pencil because people change, you change. We expect you to grow and change. So we hope that that plan will change as you change.
All right. So the student-centered plans, once we do the discovery process, complete the P3 and everything like that, our student-centered plans will include career goals, or a career goal, an academic goal, and a social independence goal. And these are things that you'll work on while at UI Reach, that you'll come up with your advisor and everything, and then determine how you'll reach those goals by completing action steps, and discussing about things we can do to support you in reaching those goals. And so there's the three main areas of UI Reach: career, social, independent living, and academic. And so those are the three areas where we will focus on supporting your goals as well. And so this is our tool. This is the way we're gonna house all the information. And so everyone will get their own website. So Bill, I'll let you explain it while I pull this up.
Sure. So, and don't worry if right now you don't know exactly what your goals are. We'd like to see ourselves as that little pink spoon at Baskin-Robbins. We help students experience and taste different flavors so that they can make an informed choice about what flavor they like. It may be that they only had strawberry, vanilla, and chocolate all their lives. We want to introduce them to Rocky Road and double fudge nut and rainbow and whatever, cake batter. Whoever knew that there was an ice cream that tasted like cake batter, right? Well, we want to introduce you to those choices in life that you can say, oh, I really like this one, but I don't care too much at all for that one. So don't worry if you don't know all the answers about your goals right now. You'll have plenty of experiences at UI Reach that'll help you decide, hey, I really like this one. Maybe I don't like this one as much, okay? So each student will develop what we call an e-portfolio. And that ePortfolio is a brand new thing that Jennifer and Lauren created for UI Reach students, and the staff contributed to it, and we all put our minds together, came up with this really neat tool called the ePortfolio that is all about you and helps you express who you are and what you can do so that employers can say, yes, I want that person on my staff. Lauren, take it with the explanation of the ePortfolio.
Yeah, so when you create your ePortfolio, my dog just woke up, I apologize. But when you create your ePortfolio, you'll have your homepage, and this is just a general snapshot of who you are. And so Herky is my example, and I said he is a freshman in UI Reach and wants to be a paraprofessional when he graduates to help students with disabilities, and then talks about a little bit about his interests. But this is a place where we can house your positive personal profile. So again, this is your homework this summer. You do not need to make a web page at the moment. Just get it down on paper in pencil, and then it's a living document that can constantly be edited. But we can upload it to your Google site here to capture really who you are, and then it's really easy to edit, and so you can make changes to it and everything like that. Then we'll use your career personal profile. So in the career profile, I have what a general paraeducator does for the workplace tasks, identified how Herky learns best, what the strengths are, and maybe possible areas of improvement. And so this is something you'll keep working on throughout your time at Reach. Everything is a fluid process and builds on one another. So again, if you don't know what you want to do, that's why we have career exploration opportunities and things like that. But then because you'll get so many of those opportunities in Reach, we'll let you brag on yourself and share about it on your webpage. So you'll get to share about maybe possible job shadows you did, experiences you've had, and then during your internships, posting what you actually did. So an employer can come in and say, yes, they did this. Wow, look at that. They had this job. And you can highlight these here. And we have a template for you. And so again, things might not happen in your first year, they might happen in your second year. And these are all things that are just going to keep being added to your one website. Then throughout your Reach, you'll earn some certificates, take some other courses in your interest area, and so you'll get to upload those here. But when we're looking at the goals specifically, we'll highlight what a short-term goal is, some action steps to reach that goal, and then your long-term goal. And so you'll see here on the left, you have the career goals, your social goals, and your independent living goals. And this is kind of how it'll be laid out. And you'll work with your advisor and staff and circle of support to write these. But they're for you and how you want to reach them. And then you'll also get to highlight clubs and things you've been a part of while at UI Reach. So maybe, you've always wanted to try kayaking. Well, maybe you can rent one, or maybe the CRWC has a kayaking night. I don't know. Maybe you want to do a cooking club, and that was supposed to be a kitchen, or do archery, like Robin Hood Club. Who knows? But these are all things you can explore and try, and there's so many options out there. So this is just what Herky highlighted.
We have one student who actually wanted to learn how to climb the rock wall at the wellness center. We have a picture of her on the rock wall. She took it around Christmas time. She dressed up as Santa Claus and made it to the top of the rock wall and got somebody to take a picture of her, right? That was one of her social goals, to learn how to climb the rock wall and get a picture. So anything's possible, students. If you can dream it, you can achieve it. And we want you to dream big, right? Mm-hmm. And we'll take small steps to get you to those big goals, but anything's possible. If you have a special interest, there are over 500 student organizations on campus. So if you like rock wall climbing, or if you like archery, or if you like canoeing, or if you like whatever, there's a student organization for that. We want to get you connected to those organizations so that you can really have other people who like the same things that you like, build some new friendships, both inside and outside of UI Reach.
Yeah, for sure. And some of these goals, I will say, I did borrow from some of our current students, and so we do have a student who is right now taking classes at Kirkwood Community College to get his paraprofessional certificate. so that he can be a paraprofessional upon graduation. So there's so many opportunities that are individualized that we can offer you and support you in reaching those goals. And then finally, I just did this really cool training and I learned how to build my own community resource map. So hotspots that you might need to access or whatever, you can pin on your own map and have right at your fingertips. So you can just click it and then it tells you maybe you love airliner pizza and you just want to go visit there. You click it, it'll give you the directions, their phone number, the website, you can check their specials, and it's all right there with the click of a button, and you can put it right on your page too. And again, this can be updated and edited based on your course schedules, maybe where your classes are being offered, where your internship is, can all constantly be added and updated. And so there's some really exciting things we can do here. And parents, this is also a really good tool because you'll have access to this site. So as your students are engaging in activities and stuff, you can check and say, oh my gosh, I saw you just upload that picture of you on the rock wall dressed as Santa. Did you make it to the top? And then be connected while supporting at the same time. You'll identify your team members, and then like we said, next steps will just be updated as you transition out of UI Reach and things. And so, are there any questions about?
The Eportfolio is a great tool, and we were glad to have piloted it recently, and we're constantly expanding it. Students will have a LinkedIn profile eventually, right? So that they can connect with other people in the same interest areas that they have. So looking forward to creating your LinkedIn profile. You might be asking yourself, how's all this going to happen? How does it all unfold? Well, this slide tells you exactly what the process is like. We begin with some education efforts. This video is in fact one of those education efforts where we just tell you what person-centered planning is all about. Next, we move into assessment. That's where you complete what we call a positive personal profile. That helps us learn a little bit more about you. What do you like? What do you dislike? What are some of your aspirations? What are some of the ways that work best for you in terms of learning new skills? All that's in the positive personal profile. Many of you have done that already. From there, there's a one-on-one session with Lauren where she'll say, okay, based on this profile, let's chart out some goals for you for the next year. Let's look at what goals you want to achieve while you're at Reach and even when you leave UI Reach. After the dream sessions are held, we move to what's called a circle of support meeting where various folk come together to say, hey, I support your goals. I know you're in the driver's seat, but let's figure out how we can help you move your goals forward. So the team says, this is what I'll do to help you move forward. Your advisors will help with strategy development. They'll also help with help you to collect data on your progress. That's in the implementation phase. If revisions are needed, that's where we reassess and revise. We can change the plan based on how your goals change. Hopefully this all leads to the accomplishment of your goal. What's our timeline for all of this? So we completed the education and some of the assessment phases over the summer. So we have gathered the information from all of our students, had our dream sessions, and so we are now ready to begin those circle of support meetings. So many of those meetings will occur in September. And we hope that as a result of those meetings, some of the plans can actually be launched. So we're doing really good on the initial part of our timeline. Phase 2, after all of the circle of support meetings have been held and we start the actual implementation, we'll run that implementation from October, and the plans will be 1-year plans. So they will run all the way through May 2021. Some goals may be accomplished before then, but the plans will actually run through May 2021. At the halfway point in December, we'll bring the circle of supports back and we will say, hey, what needs to be revised? What needs to happen to keep on task or have some of the plans changed? We'll do the same thing again in May, right? So as we plan for the following year, the circle of supports will reconvene. And then in April, we'll contact students again for dream sessions, and the cycle just begins all over again. So that's our timeline.
So just a motivational quote for the end. This has been a great day with all of you, but again, the future is yours, and it just begins now by taking this first step and coming to UIReach this August. And so we're so excited to have you, so excited to be a part of your journey. And so we're here to help you follow your direction and be the driver to your future. So, questions?
I think, Casey, did you have a question? Maybe she didn't. But hey, that is it for our person-centered planning presentation for today. Remember, who's in the driver's seat? You are. Do drivers still have to obey the rules of the road? Yes. Do drivers still have to make sure there's gas in the car? Yes, especially if it's mom and dad's car. You got to be careful with it. You still got to wear your seatbelts, all of that stuff. So being the driver doesn't mean it's carte blanche for you, right? You still got to follow the rules, but the car can take you just about anywhere you want to go. So welcome to UIReach. Get in that car, drive, and achieve what it is you want to achieve while you're here.